Say hello to my little friend. Yeah, this guy looks very healthy. Feasting on some detritus. And those banana slugs love the amanita mushrooms as well. Okay, so I recorded this little walk around on the property on February 2nd, 2023, just after a deluge of rain. The atmospheric rivers, they're called. Back here on this side of the hill, where my utility lines come up, I've set up a few trail cams, which have caught lots of deer, and some coyotes, and some skunks, and a bobcat or two. Lots of wildlife on the cams. But here I am making a bunch of noise as I crunch through the leaves, so we won't be seeing any wildlife, per se, on this walk. Descending here, taking a look around, and taking a look around and up at the Monterey pine, leaning precariously over, that I expect to collapse and fall down next winter. And here we are entering what I call to myself the Upper Grove. It's a small little ring of, adolescent age coast redwoods, maybe 80 or 90 years old, these trees, growing in a ring formation around what would have been an old growth. Okay, so this property has been around for quite a while, the 40s, 50s, and I think in the 60s and 70s, as we just passed that gate, this area was terraced gardens. And you can see remnants of the old irrigation system. There were fruit trees, remnants of which are still there. Those are some camellia trees. And there are some interesting exotic bulbs growing all around the hillside. Some cherry blossoms up in the tree, which still produce lovely cherries twice each year. Walking down the hill, cross a little switchback into the lower redwood grove. In the background, the birds you can hear are pygmy nuthatches and acorn woodpeckers for the most part. This is a special spot, a place of power. As we exit the lower grove, and I adjust my camera exposure, we are now walking on what's left of an old fire road, which was taken out by a mudslide that I think occurred in 1984. Or it could have been 94. That was also a strong El Nino year. This is the toe of the slide. And we have some blastocyte vascularless plants. Quite rare, requiring year-round moisture and coolness. Now walking across the mudslide. Exiting the thicket, which is a animal trail with a lot of traffic. So this is another location I've set up a trail cam on that tree to the left, right there, facing the thicket. This is a great location to bird watch at. Frequently there are owls, hawks, falcons, eagles, and all sorts of others. So this part of the fire road is maintained. I suppose I could drive on it. There's not really any room to turn around. There is an eagle nest at the top of that tree. Did you spot it? And evidence of lots of deer activity, munching on those coast live oaks and black oaks. Frequently I find antlers and turkey feathers around here. That little slump in the hillside just happened about a week prior. To the left there is my driveway, but I'm just going to pop up the hill here. That long dead Monterey pine tree, which was standing, was a granary tree for a colony of woodpeckers, and it finally came down in that last storm on January 6th, I believe, 2023. So here we are walking back up the ridge. You can see the shed by my house in the background there. That tree is another location I've put a trail cam at. But here we're going to divert to the right. And walk on down my upper trail, running parallel to where we just were, further up the hillside. If this area is ever developed into a public park, this would be an ideal location for a scenic bench. But for now, this 15-acre parcel, on which I have the privilege of residing as caretaker, is off limits to public access and is essentially a wildlife reserve without any formal designation as such. Euchnia lichen up in the trees, also known as old man's beard, not the same as Spanish moss. is a very medicinal lichen. And I don't remember what these types of bulbs are called that hang down like little silver bells. Silver bell bulbs. As we pass remnants of the old irrigation system, again, these were terraced gardens. And there are still remnants of some of these exotic plants. Some of them I think are Asian plants that I can't quite identify. At one point in time, there was a palm tree growing right there, but it fell down. And we enter the forest again. There's no pressure in these water pipes. They are shut off, but you can open them and water will come out. It's groundwater, like an artesian spring. I don't know if you caught it, but we just passed our stopping point earlier, and so we're making a loop back, and you can hear a northern flicker chirping in the background. A red-banded flicker, to be precise, but we won't see him. Entering again the upper grove. This area burned in a fire, and the fire came right up to the house, but obviously didn't get the house. But it did destroy an old water line and another utility line on a backside of the property. And so I contacted CAL FIRE and tried to make a public records request of when this fire took place, because it would have been in between the 40s and the 80s. Based on the, cross-cutting relationship of the old water line and the house and the trees, and they had no record of when the fire took place. Now I'm on the western side of the property, northwestern. Walking into a little more of a sunny area. Again, evidence that this was a terraced garden area at one point back in time. Get to spot lots of birds in this area, and they're quite friendly. There are so few humans. Well, there's only me. I'm the only human being that they ever see, so they're quite friendly. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.